Man podcast. Alright, so our main topic tonight is the Republican Party itself. The reason we're bringing this up, and it's more of like revenge of the progressives down here in Arizona right now, because, you know, recently we heard Donald Trump say the Democrats are treasonous because they didn't clap for him during his State of the Union address.
Right.
So,
allegedly,
if we're throwing out words like just treason, let's really break it down. You know, let's break it down today.
What does the word treason even mean, though?
Going against the country, defying your country.
Right.
Yeah, being treasonous to your country.
So it's a pretty big.
It's a pretty big deal.
It's a pretty big deal for you to call anybody treasonous.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's Trump though.
Yeah, but that's the thing too, and we shouldn't be affected.
I don't know about that.
We should. Well, the thing is too, and I've had this conversation with someone this morning. Is they were like, oh, I can't believe you said that. And I said, you know, I've covered Trump so much this year, I'm not very shocked by the things he says. But the fact of the matter is, you should be shocked because your shock meter is broken right now. But you should be shocked that he just said the other party in America is a treasonous party. But I digress from that. Let's go ahead and talk about. We're going to present to you tonight some candidates from the GOP from this year and last year. Some of them have won seats. Some of them are still running. Some of them are actually sitting representatives right now. So let's talk about the first one, Montana. Now, do you guys remember Greg Giaforte?
I believe so.
Oh, you guys do. He's the guy that body slammed a reporter.
Yeah.
The body slam. Sick and tired of you guys. You just broke my glasses.
That's right. Yep, he was the GOP candidate running in Montana that body slammed a Guardian reporter. I believe he was from the Guardian.
Yes.
And he won!
He did.
Mm-hmm.
So the party of law and order has a party of, you know, we're not snowflakes, we're not snowflakes.
It's a hard-nosed party.
The hard-nosed party, you know, we're tough, bootstraps. This guy goes and assaults a reporter.
And he makes it
He did,
illegal.
and he wins.
And he wins. And he got off on it, too.
Yeah.
And guess what? This was Fox News. Yes, your precious Fox News witnessed this guy doing this. And he won. And he won. All right, so let's bring it a little bit to home a little bit here. So I love this one. This is actually my favorite article of the night that we got. So Kelli Ward campaigns against the elderly again.
Oh,
so for those of you who don't know Kelli Ward is currently running for the state senate along with Joe Arpaio, Mick Sally, and all of them. So, but the thing about Kelli Ward is really funny is that, and let me tell you where this article comes from. Now I'll get to that at the end, but basically Kelli Ward is the Republican candidate who is called she got an endorsement from Ron Paul, then called John McCain old.
Yeah.
Then basically goes off and says that every single from Sheriff Joe Arpaio, Jeff Flake, they're all old.
Yeah.
Everybody's old. Like,
older people, yeah. They're like, she said something like, oh, they're older. The older people. Okay.
You know where this article is?
Wow. You
know who's going against her in this article, saying Kelli Ward with that headline? Kelli Ward goes against the elderly. Washington Examiner, a right-wing website, thinks that you are a terrible person, Kelli Ward.
Oh, you should not feel good about yourself when the people that should be backing you is up there trashing you.
Right, that's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. So, and then, of course, we had Roy Moore this year.
Yeah, of course, him.
Yep. Roy Moore, who is accused of sexually...
You know him, right? Your good old sexual offender, Roy Moore, right?
God, man. I mean, it's so bad. You know... Let's take a break real quick here on this. Like, honestly, think about it. They call Republicans call the Democrats treasonous.
Right.
Yeah.
They call them the party of obstructionists.
Yep.
What is all this?
It's nothing.
The party. Now, you may say law and order. You know, well, that's going to do. What about Sheriff Joe? You have Sheriff Joe is another GOP candidate running right now for Senate office who is a convicted criminal who is convicted of racially profiling people in his state, going against the judge's orders of his conviction, and violating the Constitution of the United States.
But
he's the GOP candidate. Law and order. The law and order party strikes again. My God.
I mean, he's pardoned, man. Did you not understand? Once you get pardoned, everything that you did before doesn't exist ever?
Yeah, apparently to them that's what they believe.
So have you heard of Paul Nealon? Paul Nealon is actually the Wisconsin Republican running for Paul Ryan's empty seat right now.
Oh.
Now, what's funny about Paul Nielsen, is that this guy was actually endorsed by Breitbart until recently because he just went full anti-Semitic. I mean, he started putting out things about how diversity is what kills European nations, thus killing America. He literally has tweeted things like retweeted things that say like, it's a picture of a British officer escorting 2 white children on the street next to a SWAT team in guns and saying this is why we can't have diversity in America.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's given retweets of Pepe the Frog.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Stuff like that. I mean, there you go.
Anything that is mildly or pretty much just flat out racist, the guy has been there and retweeted it.
But what's funny is like it's bad when Breitbart drops you,
dude. When they're like, yo, you are too hot for us, we need to back away. That's a big problem. You need to be like, okay, what am I doing? It's like, am I too racist?
It's like, he's too racist.
I know, right?
Alright, so let's get into a little bit of the funny ones. Okay. Yeah, okay, there's a few, right? There's a few, guys. You guys named a few. The crazy ones. Well, how about this lady? We have a Republican congressional candidate from Florida. Her name is Bettina Rodriguez Angelera. She's one of the nearly a dozen candidates hoping to win the U.S. House seat currently held by retiring Republican Lena Ross Lathin. Sorry if I butchered that. Lathin. But this woman claims she was abducted by aliens who reminded her of Jesus.
Oh, God.
According to the new resurfaced interviews, she believes that aliens took her up and told her that God is the white God, too. Not only that, but...
That is just... Wow, dude. I mean...
Claims she was taken at the age of 7 by 3 tall, blonde space people who have communicated with her telepathically at times since. She said the aliens reminded her of Jesus Christ, the redeemed statue of Rio de Janeiro.
Wait,
the statue that says, about this big.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious. I like how she's like, reminding me of Jesus Christ. You met him?
And she's like, yeah, there are aliens that exist, and they are blonde-haired, blue-eyed, white Jesus people. Well, I don't know. It is the Jesus at Rio de Janeiro. I've actually never seen the Jesus. What color is it? Is it just a statue?
It's just a statue. It's like stone.
It's like every other thing of Jesus. So her kind of depicting the whole blue-eyed, blonde-haired Jesus thing, it could happen. I'm not going to... This is what she said, right?
Okay, here's something that should anger everybody. I mean, certainly this one angered me, and this one actually... We didn't report about this initially on the show when we first...
This one's the jump to sharp.
This one is like, wow, really? So, here we go. I mean, this one's actually hard to read, because I cannot believe I'm actually reading this to you, everybody. I mean, this one is that bad. I mean, and I want all our listeners out there, I want you to take this down. When they say, oh, you're the party of, if you're a Democrat and they say, oh, you're a traitor, you say, really? How about this one? So, there was a Republican candidate for governor in Georgia giving away bump stocks. And this is not long after the Las Vegas massacre. That's right. States Michael Williams, who is positioning himself as the most pro-Donald Trump candidate in a crowded GOP field to succeed term-limited Governor Nathan Deal, gave out basically bump stocks at his freaking rally.
That is...
Wow.
Okay, so again, for all the people that don't know bump stocks are a stock for your weapons that is semi-automatic to make it fully automatic, which was used in the massacre to slaughter all those people in Las Vegas. So to give that out in a rally, not like you said, not even, like, what was it, not even a couple of weeks after it. Like,
well, let me add a couple things, too. First of all, I'm going to say that not only that, but Roy Moore also gave out a weapon, too, just after the Las Vegas massacre. He gave out an AR-15 rifle the night before he won the GOP nomination.
He did.
But let me tell you what this guy would have to say to you, Steve. He said, the tragedy in Las Vegas broke my heart, but any talk of banning or regulating bump stocks is merely cheap political lip service from career politicians, he said, announcing Georgia gun owners deserve a governor who will stand with them when liberals and Hollywood elites attack our fundamental rights.
What?
My God!
Dude, go tell that to those 500-plus families that lost people in that shooting. You tell them that. Don't tell me. You tell them while you're handing out.
Yeah, don't tell your Georgia voters. You're not even in Vegas, right?
Right.
Yeah, go tell that to those families, man.
I mean, and which again, most of those families were conservatives in the first place. I mean, I don't understand what logic do you have to have, and what kind of mindset. You know, I might get some flack for this, but you know, when you're giving the person the AR-15 and the bump stocks, you should just be like, hey, you know, after the rally, meet me behind in my truck. I'll give you a wet hood and
meet me behind the corner.
Yeah, you know, white power and all that.
But it's not even about the white power issue, man. It's about the whole gun regulation. You know, I get what you're saying, but
it goes hand in hand, bro. I mean, like, to be honest with you, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It goes hand in hand.
Because when he's using the term liberal elites in Hollywood, that's what he's meaning. That's why you should have guns, so you can shoot the liberal elites. Yeah.
You shoot the
I'm going to be the governor that's not going to let them take your guns away, you know? Because
why do you need an AR-15, by the way? Why?
Because you're going to miss that many times when you're shooting deer.
Well, I mean, even the legalization to ban bump stocks is still pending by Congress.
Oh, it's not going to go through.
No, it's not, because why pass something that's going to make sure this doesn't happen?
Well, no, not that, but why are you going to pass legislation that's going to upset the NRA? Because most Republicans are actually
paid by the NRA.
Yeah.
Yes.
So here's a good one. Okay, so let's move it a little back home. Craig Britton! What's going on? We talked about you, and you know this is we were getting to you, man. Don't worry, you were on the list. We were taking our time. We're working our way, baby. We're working our way. So Craig Britton, you know, make America Britain again, which you know, we thought was really good because, like we said, you know, if we were a bunch of liberal elite assholes, we would say something about like, oh, that sounds like a kind of a racial make America Anglo-Saxon again.
Yeah.
Racist. But anyway, we're not like that, but you know, we're not saying people take that campaign slogan, run with it, but if you want to, just give us credit.
Make America British again.
Right? He doesn't even want to go MAGA. He wants to go all the way. He's like, let's not make it 1950s. Let's take it all the way to colonial times. Let's make America Britain again. So, I don't know if you guys know this, but Craig Britton, too, is actually the mastermind behind the, let's see, it's now deficient revenge porn site is anybodydown.com.
Wow.
Yes, he is the Republican running in the Republican primary for U.S. Senate right now. That's right. So we have another candidate that used to run a revenge porn site. Congratulations, Law and Order! Law and Order Republicans!
Basically.
You guys are the party of law and order. Let me tell you. Alright, so let's see. And the reason we bring this up is because I don't know if you guys have heard of the latest guy that came out. We actually have a real neo-Nazi, Holocaust-denying Republican nominee now.
Yeah.
He's running for the congressional seat in Illinois.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, what a state, dude.
Yeah, right, dude. I mean, that's Kentucky, right? I said Kentucky? Jesus, God. Yeah, Arthur Jones is his name. Arthur Jones was the head of the National Socialist Movement in Kentucky. So this guy is actually the head of a Nazi party. I mean, there's a picture, clear as day picture of this guy dressed up as a white nationalist. I mean, I'm talking about the gray uniforms, you know, the gray press, you know, spiky uniforms for the Nazis back in the day, those ones. You know, Jesus, uniforms. Anyway, went in front of a huge swastika, but it's not just a swastika, guys. Let me describe this flag to you for all my listeners.
Specific.
And you know, it kind of goes hand in hand with what we're going to end the show and talk about here with this new Republican Party. It is actually half a swastika going over what looks like a cross with a crown on the top.
Yeah.
So what I get from that when I see that as basically Christian fundamental Nazis. Basically, Christian Nazis is what we have here. So, yeah, we have that. So, we have an actual Nazi running for the GOP nomination, but
Head of one. I mean, head of a... Oh, my God, dude. I mean, at this point, you don't even... They're living their truth, like, apparently. You know, they're not hiding. But, God, to officially run. Just officially running for that. Like, not even scared in one bit.
You know, speaking of Holocaust denier, I'm trying to find the name of the guy he was speaking to. Sheriff Joe actually was recently uncovered, too. In 2 years, twice in 4 years, he has spoke to the same anti-Semite and Holocaust denier. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. He talks to the same Holocaust denier.
Yeah, Arizona's own Sheriff Joe, former Sheriff Joe.
Is also probably anti-Semite in the Holocaust.
Probably.
I wouldn't surprise me.
But you know what I kind of find funny about the story about Art Jones is that in 2016 he was actually taken off the ballot in the same district after none of the voter signatures he needed to qualify was found to be valid.
Yeah, well, hey, it don't matter for the Republican Party, apparently.
Do you think they're going to be scoffing at that at this point? I
mean, you know, it just astounds me. Like, a real live Nazi is running for Senate.
It does.
Don't face me.
It does. We were going over all these articles right now, and you know,
he's just the first one to come on out and said he was.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, for the Republican Party to actually say, all right, let's just throw money at him. Let's see if we can get him elected.
Hell yeah, why wouldn't you? I mean, hey, we got Trump, and I'm gonna put all my cash in on some people.
And you're just gonna put all your eggs in that basket. I mean, look what happened in Alabama with Trump. I mean, he went with one guy that didn't get the nomination, and then he deleted all of his tweets about him, and then put all of his eggs into Roy Moore's basket. Look how that ended up.
Yeah.
They still did it.
I mean, yes, they still did it.
Doing it.
Yep. It's crazy. You know, it just it really sends home to what is going on. You have to actually, when you hear this kind of stuff, you have to ask yourself, what is going on right now in the mainstream media? Because the mainstream media is not covering this the way they should. I mean, you know, that's why I tell our listeners, listen to this show so you can be more informed on things. Because this just goes to show you what they're doing. Not only is the mainstream media not paying attention, but they are normalizing this. They are now normalizing this party of Holocaust deniers, of anti-Semites. Not only that, but did you know the guy running, the Paul Nealman guy, the guy I told you about?
Yeah.
He actually made a list of Jewish Twitter users that insulted him.
Wow.
You got a man literally making a list.
And
you know, as I said, all white supremacists, though, are snowflakes. You have to be the ultimate snowflake to get upset at, you know, Star Wars. For thinking that Star Wars.
You have to be an ultimate snowflake at getting mad at another person's race.
Well, let's talk about a little more of some sitting GOP members. Steve Scalise.
Yes, yeah.
Now, this show has actually held back a lot about Steve Scalise because when what happened to him in Alexandria was a tragedy. But let me tell you what happened to Steve Scalise. Steve Scalise was once quoted as saying, "Hey guys, I'm like David Duke, but without the baggage." And now there are some reports, actually I pulled up an article right here that says Steve Scalise is still an asshole. He's just an even bigger asshole now that he got shot.
Oh my goodness.
And I hate to say it, Steve, but what is with all these Steves, man? Now we can move into Steve King!
Yeah,
now here's the one, I mean, we had...
Steve's are bringing a bad name to the word Steve, man.
Literally.
Yeah.
Bring down Steve's.
I mean, if you don't know who Steve King is, Steve King might as well be the double Grand Wizard Imperial Grand Dragon for the KKK. The things Steve King says are insane. Steve King once said, letting people use birth control will lead to a dying civilization.
My goodness. What is the...
He once said that we don't need immigrant babies. Or we don't need to bring immigrant babies from other countries.
He said that we don't need them from other countries.
He told people to riot if Obamacare passed. Let's see, Steve King. Let's see, I got a lot of quotes from Steve King.
He's a terrible man.
When he argued that only forcible rape victims should get access to abortions. He also wants to end birthright citizenship. When he tried to block Planned Parenthood from receiving federal funds for medical groups to expand telemedicine service because he assumed they would be used for robo-Skype abortions.
Wow.
This guy, dude, he's been watching a lot of science fiction in his day.
It seems like it.
Yeah. He said most undocumented immigrants are smuggling drugs across the border.
What?
Yep. Oh, and this one I love, too. He did this, actually, at Obama's final State of the Union address in 2016. He left a seat for the unborn at the State of the Union. Yeah. He's also another guy, I don't know if you guys remember this one. This one made me laugh a lot, too. Remember when he said that no group has given more to Western civilization than white people?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, forgetting them. You know, we actually talked about that on our show. We broke that down for you. When he suggested that black people could afford abortions if they stopped buying iPhones.
Yo, you guys out there with your black people, come on now. Stop buying those iPhones. Get those abortions like the man is saying, alright? You guys you're just lazy is all. You're just lazy.
When he praised the Border Patrol for deporting 23-year-old Dreamer. When he claimed his opponent made up that she was receiving death threats. Yeah, that is actually a crazy one. So the actual woman who was running against, it was actually a woman who was running against Steve King in the race, started receiving death threats. She withdrew the nomination. Yeah, because Steve King, you know, of course, is insane. And the people of Iowa, I'm sure you're not disgusted. I mean, you know, for those of you who are, you know, I appreciate standing with you on the side. But those of you who are like, yep, that's my representative. You're deplorable.
Or just
you're a deplorable person, and you shouldn't be allowed to vote. I'll just say that right now, because you're not voting based off policy. You're voting based off race, and you're voting based off really, really stupid, deplorable. I can't even really.
Dare I say un-American?
Un-American, yeah. Un-American means. So, Squid, what was the real quick one I'm looking to? I just want to give this up on the. What was the approval rating for Putin in the Republican Party?
I have to go look at that up.
Go look that up again. And while you're doing that, I wanted to get into a little more of the GOP and their racist, anti-Semitic ways. So, I don't know if you guys know. Do you guys remember who voted? All the people who voted against Martin Luther King Day being an official holiday? Yep. So, and you guys are going to be surprised. Some of the current Republican senators that actually have voted for Martin Luther King Day to not be an initial holiday was Richard Shelby of Alabama, John McCain of Arizona, Chuck Grassley of Iowa, and Orrin Hatch of Utah. Orrin Hatch is gone now, thank God. But
you still have the McCain.
You still have the John McCain. So after all this, and you know, I asked my listeners too, if you've been following us as I have, because I let me tell you, I was shocked when I found this many. I mean, they sit here and they say, and I'm going to go at it again, that the Democrats are the treasonous party, are the obstructionist party. You have Nazis. You have people, you have people that are, running for office that are accused of sexual molestation, that are making lists of Jewish Twitter users. For what? What reason would you need to do that before, unless you plan on doing something to them?
You have representatives handing out stocks, in rallies right after mass shootings.
You have candidates body slamming reporters because they don't want to take a question
and winning
against the First Amendment of the United States.
Don't forget, and then winning.
What does that tell you about the Republican Party? It's the party of unhinged. You're unhinged. It's not a party anymore. And this is where I'm getting my final point for the show here that we were getting. So if you get those numbers,
yep, I found it. All right. It's at 34%.
Oh, it's at 30.
It was at 34%, but that was from 2015.
Wow.
And that was the latest one that they took.
34%. I think that's about Trump's base, right? I think that's about right. And that's about the same base that's probably voting for a lot of these deplorable candidates. And yes, you are deplorable. I would say it right now, you are deplorable candidates. I just think it's really funny how, like we said, the media is starting to normalize this kind of behavior. They're really starting to, normalize it. The shock meter is so broken, but you need to be shocked at this stuff because these are the people that are writing your laws.
So what do you mean? So we don't really have a party of the Republican.
No, we don't. And, I'm glad you brought that up, Steve, and that comes into my final thought again, is I wrote an article recently. We wrote an article about the Republican Party and coming underneath this blue wave. The Republican Party initially is on life support. The end of the moderate Republicans are gone. This era of, let me stab you in the back while I smile at you and lie to you about policy and then vote on something else is gone. They don't want those moderate Republicans. They don't want the Jeff Flakes. They don't want the John Walshes.
They don't want the John McCains.
They don't want the John McCains. They want these new candidates that are, we'll just say it for lack of a better word, because I know it bothers them, a basket of deplorables. These candidates we gave you here tonight are a basket of deplorable candidates, and they all work for one party. yes, you can probably sit here and say, well, what about the Democrats? What about some Democrat candidates? You show us, because the only ones that come to my mind so far are Anthony Weiner, who is currently in jail, unlike Roy Moore, might I add, who is currently in jail, and Roy Moore is actually trying to get the trial to a new venue that probably will be in more his favor. So that's one. So Anthony Weiner's in jail. You had Anthony Weiner, who was sexting a girl, and then Bill Clinton, who what? Was getting a blowjob in the Oval Office?
Who was impeached, by the way.
Who was impeached, by the way. And then you had the guy who was leading that impeachment, Jeff Sessions, lying under oath to Congress and the Senate Intelligence Committee. You are the party of law and order. More like you're the party of obstruction and racism.
So we're going back to that word treason.
Who is the treasonous party?
The treasonous party, though?
You know, because I'm pretty sure that as Americans we fought the Nazis. You know, and that was the whole point. Was so why are you embracing? If you're so American and you're the American party, the party of patriots,
then why are you against the American way?
Then why are you against? Yeah, exactly. Why are you against the American way? Why do you support Nazis? Why do you support anti-Semites? Why do you support these crazy people?
Yeah.
Wait, it's because they're on your side. That's right. It's because politics nowadays has become a tribal game. A game of where I don't have to like the other side because I think everything they do is wrong. If you seriously are sitting here listening to us right now saying every single liberal policy that's ever been created was wrong, then you are not paying attention. You are not an educated person. You play for a team and you don't even know it. You're sitting there basing your decisions off your heart. That's the problem with the Republican Party. You feel too much.
You do.
You feel. Because Jesus wants me to feel this way. Because my pastor tells me to feel this way. I feel like the immigrants are crossing the border. I feel like, Obama's the worst president in the world. But does it actually line up with facts? No, it doesn't. Why? Because you need to vote with your brain, not with your heart. I believe that old saying goes that children make decisions with their heart, but men make decisions with their brain. That's exactly the problem with the Republican parties. Y'all sitting there making decisions with your hearts. And, if you want to say, that's fine, I don't mind doing that, that's not the point I'm making to you. The point I'm making is you're acting irrationally. You're acting stupid.
That's the thing. And that's that. There you go. I mean, the whole thing about it is, you hit the nail on the head, man. You can't, in this day and age, or any age, let's just go any age. I don't even care about today versus yesterday.
Think with your heart.
Anything, you need to, if you're an adult, you need to act rationally. And that's the whole thing. We can get back into this whole philosophy thing about common sense, which we're not even going to get into. But it's the thing of doing your due diligence as an American and what that means to you. That's why it's divided. I get that. But we're talking about as the Republican Party as it is right now. I'm going to go even more one step further for my final thought here. It's not, I don't even think there is a party anymore, and I think it was disintegrated as soon as Trump took office. And this is from my own personal opinion, so take it as you will. But since he's taken office, what have we seen? Before and afters, really. Before he took office, you had people gearing up for him to go in, and they were uncertain. Once he became into office, make the accusations as you will, you had less and less Republicans going against him. And if they did, it was very, very messy. We're surrounded in chaos and conspiracies with this man.
Right.
And he doesn't care. A normal Republican would have folded. If it was George W. Bush, all the crap we've given that man, do you really think that he would be shrugging it off? And he's a cut and dry Republican.
Yeah.
He is.
John McCain is a cut and dry Republican. He's not my favorite. By the way, we just said on the podcast here, he voted against the Martin Luther King, as a holiday, but then he, voted that he wanted a Ronald Reagan President's Day. But that's neither here or there. Going on that thing is it even a party? Like you said, I think personally it's not. It's not a party if you're leading with not just your heart, but you're leading with this idealistic faith. That's what it is. It's faith. A lot of people are believing like, I fear that people are coming over to my state, so I have faith in Trump. I don't believe in Trump, which is a totally different thing.
Right.
Faith and belief is totally different. Faith is just you are throwing yourself at the person and hoping for the best. Belief is you're looking for better things to happen. You're not even looking for better things to happen. You're basically praising the man as a deity. You know what I mean? A demigod, pretty much. And that's
a
it's
good
terrible.
point, Steve.
And when you have that, what does that make it then? It doesn't really necessarily make it a religion, but it makes it something pseudo. Oh, I got it. It makes it a nationalist party. So it's not a Republican party. It makes it a nationalist party.
The National Conservative Party.
You make the guys going out there, here you go, here's a free gun for coming to my rally.
Right.
Really? You're giving me a gun? All right.
You know, I think that's one of the best points I think I've ever heard made on this show, Steve. And actually, I want to actually adjust my my last final statement here. Is you know, with all the you talk about the Republican Party, is it a party anymore? Well, let me send a message out to the Republicans and conservatives here in Arizona or abroad. With the racism, the anti-Semitism, the Nazis, you know, the crazy weirdos in your party, maybe it's time to have a little common sense and actually come home. And that's going to be the Minuteman Podcast for tonight. I'm your host, CT Rob, with CT Steve.
Thank you.
And with the Squid.
We'll see you guys later.
And you have a great night, America.